Nate Saunders here in Las Vegas with Oscar Piastri. Oscar, thanks very much for joining us today. Vegas, what have your initial thoughts of it been? I know everyone's curious to see the circuit, but what's the vibe been like for you so far?
Yeah, it's been nice. My second time in Vegas, first time for a long time. First time I came was a kid, so I don't remember that much of it, but nice to be back. I've walked the track. Looks like it's going to be an interesting one for racing. A lot of long straights, obviously on the strip as well, and tight corners, so hopefully some good overtaking spots. And yeah, it's been a bit of a struggle to get into the time zone we were talking before, but yeah, apart from that, it's been nice.
I suppose the one benefit of that is every single driver's struggling with the same thing, right?
Yes.
So it's like everyone's got the same disadvantage.
Exactly.
Your teammate took part in some Netflix Cup golf this weekend. I mean, where did you stand on that? What was your, in terms of taking part? Is that something that you're interested in? Golf? Because Lando's a big golf guy, right?
He's a big golfer. I have played probably 9 holes of golf in my life, so I need a lot more practice to be going on that. But I thought it was a good crossover. Nice to integrate the two sports, and I think any publicity for our sport and any sports in general is always good. Nice to show off a different side to the drivers as well.
Yeah, this is the penultimate race of your rookie season. They're so long now, the seasons, but is it weird to think we're at the end of it? Because being a rookie is a momentous moment, but does part of you feel like I'm not a rookie anymore? Is there any part of the rookie kind of label that you feel? Because I know some drivers, they're like, well, I don't want to. Rookie kind of has a negative connotation to it, but funny that we're at the end of that point already.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like just yesterday that I was doing my first race. It's weird because the season's so long, but we're racing so frequently that you never really get a break to sort of sit down, digest it all, and so it feels like my first race was yesterday, but also I can't really remember that much from the early part of the year. So I feel like it's been a good year. Yeah, I feel like I've still got a lot to learn. I definitely still feel like a bit of a rookie in some areas, but in others I've definitely got much more knowledge than the start of the season. So be happy to get into my second year and hopefully have a bit more experience, especially at a lot of the new tracks for me this year. Going back for the second time always makes life a little bit easier. So it's been a good year, and hopefully we can start off strong next year too.
And you mentioned about not maybe remembering some of the earlier races. Things have changed a lot for the team since those early races. Maybe there's a bit of a mental block there.
Exactly, it's probably not a bad thing. I can't remember
like Austria
much.
onwards, the memory's pretty clear.
Exactly, yes.
But I mean, in terms of that, there was the sprint win. You've been one of the guys that stood out. I know you get asked a lot before a season what your expectations coming into a year, but would you have predicted a season like this where you've got that sprint victory where you've been in a car which has been fighting for those podiums? Because a few months ago that seemed really far away for both you and for Lando.
Yeah, I think in terms of results, it's definitely been much greater than I thought it ever would be. Getting that sprint win, couple of podiums, I definitely wouldn't have imagined that coming into the season. So, of course, I can't take that much credit for that. It's very much a team effort to be able to be put into that position. I think for me the proudest moment was that when we had the car to achieve those results, I was able to go out and get them for the most part. So that's probably the proudest moment. I think there's been other good races that haven't necessarily had the same kind of showcase of results, but no, definitely we didn't expect this at the start of the year. But I think at the moment, for me, the most important thing is still to make sure I try and leave each weekend feeling like I've done a good job, regardless of where I've finished. And I think for the most part, I've been happy with that side of things. Definitely been some weekends where I felt that more than others, but with not that much to fight for in the nothing to fight for in the driver standings. Obviously, we want to lock in 4th in the constructors, but that's not our long-term target. I think any experience, good or bad, you can get at this point of the season to go into next year even stronger is probably the most important thing.
A huge commitment from yourself to McLaren and McLaren to you this year, signing that extension. I think that speaks volumes to how you felt it's gone, and the upsides you've seen from McLaren, but at the same time the upsides they've seen from you, because I think you've suddenly now got one of the longest deals on the grid actually at the moment. I think maybe behind Max, it's then you, which is a pretty big step.
Yeah, it was definitely a bit of a surprise to sort of have those talks, and have the extension already. I knew I was already coming back next year, but I think there was nothing on both sides to stop it from extending early. So the team's clearly come on extremely strong in the last couple of months, and the second half of the year has been very strong. I feel like I'm getting there, finding my feet, and clearly the team thinks I'm doing a good enough job to keep me on board for a few more years. So it's good on both sides, and looking forward to plenty more years to come.
It saves you from those questions next year of, hey,
Exactly.
do you know if you're driving again?
Exactly.
So, and I know that can drive people crazy. So I just wanted to ask as well, this season, Mark Webber's been a key part of your team since you've joined. What's it been like having him kind of in your ear, obviously with the experience he's had as an F1 driver, but also knowing the on-track side, but also knowing the off-track side of just how the sport is? How valuable has that been?
Yeah, it's extremely valuable having him in my corner. He's been there for me since I jumped into F3, and a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff he was taken care of. And now that I'm in F1, obviously he had a long and successful career in F1 himself. So there's not much he doesn't know. And both on-track and off-track, he's been a massive help coming up with questions and advice in terms of driving, strategy, and stuff like that. But also off the track, I'm sure there's hundreds of things he does that I don't even know about, making my life easier. So very, very valuable in my corner.
Awesome. Well, yeah, it's one of the many things I'm sure that's gone right for you this year. Oscar,
Yes,
thanks so much for talking to us today, and best of luck this weekend.
Thanks very much.
Las Vegas Grand Prix.
Cheers.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you.